You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, you should know by now that little Rachel Black is hiding something huge. And in fact, her confession to her mom, Kristen DiMera, is just the tip of the iceberg. Will the schoolgirl deliberately set up her cousin Johnny DiMera to go down for EJ DiMera's shooting? Kind of looks that way. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and let's talk about Rachel, Kristen, Johnny, and EJ. So after Rachel spilled tea about Johnny waving a gun at his papa EJ, we saw Rachel telling her mom that she thinks EJ deserved to get shot for taking her namesake grandma, Rachel Blake, away from her. But Kristen's trying to dial back her psycho daughter, and even though Rachel didn't seem initially like she was looking to get Johnny into trouble, she may change her mind, or she's being very clever and laying groundwork, planting seeds. So Rachel told Kristen she went back upstairs, went to bed after seeing EJ and Johnny argue, and Rachel was very clear that she did not hear a gunshot. But this kid is Kristen Jr. in every way, and I'm betting she's a little liar. So Jada and Belle just had a chat about EJ's would-be killer still being at large, and Jada was talking to Belle about Ava Vitali being off the grid and out of Salem after dumping Melinda Trask's handgun, but it seems like neither of them really think Ava shot EJ, and I doubt it as well. And of course, many fans have different ideas about who pulled the trigger, and of course it was Gabi Hernandez and Kristen DiMera who were the first two seriously questioned by this Salem PD, but there wasn't enough evidence to arrest either of these divas. And Johnny remains hostile towards his dad EJ over the sexual assault of his mom, Sammy Brady. Now, Hurricane Sammy herself is in the clear because she wasn't in town. And Johnny's wife, Chanel Dupree, and Grandpa Roman Brady actually suspect Johnny is the shooter. So lots of things happening, all pointing towards him. Both Chanel and Roman believe that Johnny confronted EJ with the gun he took from the Brady pub. They know Johnny was upset the night EJ was attacked on Days. Plus, the most important thing is that Johnny is at the top of the shooting suspect list in EJ's mind because he only has these partial and scattered memories he's recovered since coming out of that medically induced coma. So as of now, it seems like the person who knows the most about events that night that EJ was shot is little Rachel Black. And she may be doing something devious to make Johnny out to be the culprit, which aligns with what EJ fears is true, at least at the moment. So several months ago, our leaker, who has themselves an inside source at Days of Our Lives, told me that Rachel Black is responsible for shooting EJ DiMera. And I actually got grilled by the Days PR office when I first made a video about the leak a while back, which is kind of interesting. And now recent episodes show Rachel acting strange, and she abruptly left her Mad Hatter tea party to go to bed. She told Kristen, EJ, and Brady that she was too tired, but we know it had to do with the conversation turning to EJ's shooting. Attempted murder, isn't exactly appropriate small talk for a child's party, but it is the DiMeras that we're talking about, so probably not the first time. And it was strange because Rachel refused to even stick around long enough to finish opening her birthday gifts, said she didn't wrap them the next day. What kid does that? So Days of Our Lives recent episode had Kristen checking in with Rachel, talking to her about Grandpa John's accident and what's going on with him. And Rachel told worried mom Kristen that she's had a tummy ache ever since her birthday party. So maybe Rachel's feeling queasy over the stress and guilt of shooting her uncle EJ. Maybe. Kristen now knows that Johnny and EJ were fighting the night of the shooting, and according to Rachel, that woke her up. She said when she peeked, Johnny was waving a handgun at his dad, and EJ remembers Johnny holding a gun that night, but there's more memories in EJ's addled brain that just haven't come back yet. So this week, Roman told Kate he thinks Johnny's lying about what went down that night, but a lot of Days fans also know Johnny's heart is in the right place. He's one of the few good DiMeras, along with Chad. And you remember when EJ fell in Town Square because he's unsteady and using a cane, Johnny's knee-jerk reaction was to run over and help his dad. And he had to pull himself back because he's still mad. So even given all that, Rachel and Kristen are probably going to wind up pointing fingers at Johnny. At the moment, Kristen wants to keep all this quiet. She told Brady what their daughter Rachel said, and he wanted to just go tell the cops, tell his sister Belle, because she's DA. But Kristen reminded him CPS is keeping a close eye on Huss, and EJ's shooting is itself a problem. They don't want to exacerbate it. Kristen and Brady both know any hint of scandal, wrongdoing, or an unsafe environment, they're going to lose custody of Rachel. So Brady agreed with Kristen that for now, they'll stay quiet about what Rachel claims she saw. I'm not going to say she did see it because I think there's more to this story. So the kids keeping quiet, and even when Sarah Horton checked out her achy tummy at the hospital, Rachel didn't say anything to the doc. So here's what we're probably looking at soon. Kristen is now feeling certain that Johnny shot EJ, so she's gotten that in her back pocket. But I also think Rachel's telling a half truth. I do think she saw Johnny and EJ arguing, and he did hold a gun on his dad. But if our leaker's right, Johnny laid down the gun and walked out disgusted, didn't fire a shot, and little Rachel didn't go back to bed. She picked up the gun, told EJ she knows he did a bad thing to her grandma Rachel, and then shot him. So far, everything our leaker has told me has been unfolding. So it aligns. We'll see. I'm still feeling real good about this leak. Rachel now has laid the groundwork for Johnny to go down for her crime by telling her mom, Kristen, about the fight. More on this is going to shift, but the next week is going to be focused on the funeral of John Black and Beau's miraculous recovery and return. And then Days of Our Lives spoilers offer previews about a big summer trial. Looks like there's going to be some red herrings, people exonerated, somebody convicted. Johnny initially is probably going to be accused, but Kristen's going to find out the truth about what Rachel did. And our leaker says Kristen makes a false confession to save her daughter. And by the way, there is a behind the scenes photo of Anna and Tony's return that offers a big hint about that. Now, Anna's back with Tony for the funeral next week, but they're not going to stick around. They are going to be back for 60th anniversary scenes later. So this behind the scenes photo is taken from when Billy Flynn was still taping. And of course, he's gone now because he's over on Y&R. Looks like he's debuting mid-June, by the way. So it is Billy Flynn, Stacy Haiduk, Teo Pinglis, Dan Feuerriegel in Salem Town Square on a day they were all filming. And Stacy was in Statesville prison denim for the scene she was taping as Kristen. So yeah, Kristen going to prison to keep Rachel out of juvie makes sense. But before that, it could be Johnny arrested as the initial shooting suspect because Rachel seems to be trying to throw suspicion on cousin Johnny to protect herself. That kid is a true DiMera through and through.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.